Another presentation trend that you're starting to see, not here, but I spoke yesterday at an academic university that had the 16:9 aspect ratio. Every new computer for sale on the market today, Mac or PC, is coming out in a widescreen 16:9 aspect ratio. The human eye is laid out in our heads left and right, and it just naturally gravitates toward this widescreen format. Studies show that people remember presentations more effectively when they're presented in widescreen, and yet we have to make that choice when creating a PowerPoint or a new presentation to decide whether to go into a more square 4:3 or 16:9 aspect ratio. So the next time you have to create a presentation, consider going wide. 16:9 or 16:10 is the aspect ratio, and most PowerPoint presentations will ask you that question: how do you want it? In a quick setup in PowerPoint, you have the option, this is where you do it, in PowerPoint on the PC, you have it screen size saved for the 16:9 or 16:10. It's just set up under page setup on PowerPoint or PC. PowerPoint or Mac, rather. Another trend that you're going to start seeing, smartphone presentations. People are wanting their presentations to be shown easily and quickly over the web, and therefore people are using the web more than ever on their smartphones. So let's create this PowerPoint presentation and put it out there for people to see, and you can hold it in the palm of your hand to inspire, motivate, and dazzle. It's incredible stuff. Darker days. The darker days are over. A few years ago, people were using darker backgrounds with lighter text. It gave a feeling of conservatism, of quality. But the main thing is that a lot of the projectors that were out a few years ago, these were the better high-end projectors that could project this image a lot better. Darker backgrounds, lighter text. And so what people are starting to do now, they're saying that technology has improved to the point where we want lighter backgrounds, bright and bold. As people are becoming more relaxed and less uptight with their fashion, we're adapting to a lighter background, and we're able to open up windows. You're not starting to see as many dark conference rooms as much. People are writing while they're presenting, and so lighter backgrounds are the in thing these days. Point number 9, I can't say this enough: budget your time and allow enough time for output and practice. Get up there, maybe even stopping 30 minutes ahead of time can really enhance your presentations. Don't forget the time required for printouts, output, and email as well. So plan this into your budgeting of time. We like to work on slides using a formula for management of our time, and this is how we price things. I encourage you to adopt something like this as well. We have 3 different levels of slide design. Actually, we've got 5 different levels, but for ease of simplicity, we talked about different levels of slide design. Basic slide design, standard slides where you're creating something that may just have a few graphics in there, a few bullet points. Estimate 15 minutes per slide. 45 minutes for enhanced design with more graphics and more information. And those really high-end premium custom slides, figure about 2 hours of design. So early on, I'm a big stickler for time management. If you put some process in place to estimate how much time it's going to take to create the presentation, you'll be able to better understand the time required. Here's Willie Jolly. He is a world-class motivational speaker and singer. And Willie came to us a few years ago and said, "Kevin, fix my slides." I said, "Willie, you got 3 photos of you, your headline, this quote, that quote, it's all over the place." So what we did, Willie Jolly's a colorful kind of guy, so we gave him a colorful background. This became his title slide. As people were entering, and if you notice when you guys were entering, we had a single icon, a single graphic of the fire department logo up on screen, the title of the seminar, etc. So that's what we're doing here with Willie. And then here's what Gladys Knight had to say about him, and here's what Rothel of Mystic Beverages. Not only are they separated, it gives you the space to make them larger and more clear and one thought at a time. That's another concept that we've been really kind of putting out there, is one message per slide. One message per slide. People remember information not in segments or long lists of information, but rather in groupings. Here's a slide for Republic Services. Anyone know of Republic? They are a large waste management firm that now in Phoenix, used to be in Fort Lauderdale. We work with them a lot. And they see this whole list of their strategic initiatives. And I said, "Will,
let's talk about your revenue, productivity, finance, and maintenance in 4 separate items. And simply, by taking this simple slide, we took revenue, productivity, maintenance, and finance and put them into 4 cubes. So just grouping them together adds a psychological edge. And now, one step beyond that, something we could all do, taking those groups, making them to colored hexagons. Revenue, maintenance, productivity, and finance. Much more memorable. The shapes come in color. And we have, from their annual report, a background, gray, black, and white, very clean, conservative, and conveys that standard brand image that they're going for. Another example, employers being overcharged. I'm sure we've all seen a slide like this. This is a major company. This is Hill's Pet Nutrition. And again, it was a small audience with just a flat background. This is a multi-billion-dollar pet food company. And we're talking, let's try to fix this in a different way. So by grouping those bullet points into 3 separate elements and then putting a graphic next to each one of the elements, an icon about stop, about management, a light bulb, simple concept graphics. They don't need to be elaborate. But suddenly we remember the graphics more effectively, we remember the message, and it's a whole lot more conveyed just through graphics. Point number 3. This is one of the more challenging and yet sometimes often more fun aspects. Consolidate text. There are 2 words there. 2 words. A lot of people would probably say, it's important that you reduce the amount of text on a slide. Another way of saying that is consolidate text. I have been a photographer since I was a kid, tinkering with a camera, taking it apart, and trying to figure out what makes it click. And I believe that photography is out there, and our lives can click if we click with photography. So here are some tools and techniques out there. It's important for us to go research. There's a lot of different, like shopping around for cell phones, the speed, the ease of use, the power, the ability to connect with the computer. All of these different tools and techniques are out there for cameras. It's important because the techniques of cameras are a way of opening our soul and our adventure of clicking with technology and doing more. What makes a good photo? The subject, the composition, the lighting, the uniqueness. This is not a photo class, but just an importance that it's not just going out there and clicking. It's finding something that clicks with you and then integrating that photo on your social media site, on your presentation, on your website, or maybe just for you to look at. Because we all feel better when we see something that lights our spirit and says, wow. And more than ever, technology can allow us to do that. There are a lot of tools out there, a lot of websites, Flickr, Picasa, Facebook. These are all great social media sites and sites for storing our photos. So it's important that we look at our presentation to share the presentation with passion and commitment. That what we're doing out there, so many people will get out there and just say, this is our business plan. But I'm sure Cherie and you guys can say that the personality that you reflect, this has nothing even to do with a PowerPoint presentation. This is all about how do you come across when you're speaking. You got to be enthused, you got to be focused, you got to be energetic about it, because that's reflecting your enthusiasm. That goes a long way in terms of showing your potential investor that you're pretty serious about this program. We've seen so many people that just get out there and just talk, this is the money we're going to be looking to raise. I mean, it really is so important that we get out there. And
so many people just read their slides.
So many people read the slides, exactly. It's also important when you're talking about a presentation that you're able to scale it for something that could be as long as 30 minutes or longer, something down to 3 minutes. You've got to tell me what your elevator pitch is. Presentation, with or without slides, or what is that 30-second elevator pitch? Who are you? What do you do? What are you looking for? Where's it going, right? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Hope he's right. Something like that. So it really comes down, the presentation comes down to the bottom line. What are you looking for? What's the time and money that's involved with the company and the time and money in creating the presentation, and the value that it's going to provide the viewer or the potential investor and the return on investment. And of course, you've got to be out there looking good. That's what this whole talk is fundamentally about. Not just the presentation looking good, but you as a speaker, as a business owner, as an executive looking for money. You're out there putting your best foot forward. So that's why it's so important to show it, to show what you're about, to show where you're going. And it's not just putting words up on screen. These days, it's easier than ever to have references, videos, and demos. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is an old slide, a type of slide that a client of ours years ago would put up there, and so many people say, hey, let me put out this reference about the credentials of a person. Any of you have written letters saying, hey, this guy is quality and he's worth the investment's money? Do any of you have that on sheets? So a lot of people will simply put that up on screen. And what I'm saying here is, gosh, if somebody's emailed that to you, or given it to you better on their letterhead, why not take that actual letterhead, that letter, and pull out a portion of it? The key words here. This is simply a black screen, nothing even on a template. It's simply a letter from a company. This is actually for a construction company, but a portion of the letter pulled out. Some of this is done in Photoshop. More and more we can use PowerPoint to do a lot of this type of function. But the key message here is this is the same as this, now just this section of letter pulled out. Another idea, hey, somebody scanned the letter, let's just take out this one sentence to make it viewable. Who said it? This guy. Maybe you've got some certifications and praise from our partners. This is a company that's saying, hey, we're certified to do this. That's so important that a lot of people looking at their presentations often will skip this. It's just assumed. But golly, these are the certificates that hang on their wall in their office. Show them. Say that you're qualified. Show that you're actually doing it.